wanted to include a video in my pattern, which is coming out any day now, about the construction of this cardigan. This is the Opa cardigan, and I'm so excited that it's finally coming out. This video will be included in the pattern because I really want anyone who knits this to have a full understanding of the pattern and the construction and how to do the cables. There's going to be chapters, so just if you already know what you're doing, then just go ahead to whatever section. Anyway, to introduce this cardigan, it's called Opa, and as you can see, this sample is not the sample that is in the pattern. That one is with my daughter in the Netherlands. She wanted that one, so I had to make another one, and this is another one. It was worked in Woolpaca, Cascade Woolpaca, which is a beautiful yarn. It's very soft, and just the cables pop out really nice. So this is the second sample I'm making. This one was smaller. If you see in the pattern, it's very oversized. My daughter wanted it that way, and that's what I did. So this one is smaller, but I love it. Anyway, so let me just go over quickly how it's made. And it's very straightforward. I mean, it's a drop shoulder, top down, but I spent so much time working on this pattern. The complication came in because of the grading. So, I mean, it is straightforward, but for this V-neck shaping here, because I wanted the V-neck depth to be at the underarm or close to it, I mean, depending on your size, everybody's underarm is different for each size. So in order to make a very smooth taper down to the underarm, I had to do different charts for each size, and that's why there's 21 pages in the pattern. I couldn't help it, but the charts are a little tricky to understand. I didn't want to do a chart for the entire V-neck. Obviously that would be really big, so I did a chart for each for the single repeat, and then the increases are gradually incorporated. So I'm going to show you how to read those charts. Anyway, let's go back. This is the overview of the pattern. What you do first is cast on stitches for this neck. And you can see there's a little, this is where you pick up. So you're going to do one side and then the other and work the ribbed neckline here. And that's it. And then at that point, pick up stitches for the back neck. And the way, these are really cool shoulders. I love this construction. It's called European shoulders, or some people call them diagonal shoulders. They are shaped with increases, and I just love the way it looks because it folds, it almost looks like the shoulder folds over at the top. So that's the look I wanted to have. So once you pick up stitches here for the neck, the way the shoulders are shaped is with increases every single row. And that's what this, it creates like a false, it's not a seam, it's a false seam. These are the increases. And then I didn't want this diagonal to be so sharp, because then it would just, because it's a drop shoulder, it would just cut into the sleeve too much. So what I did was, after a series of single increases every single row, I did a series of cast-ons, cable cast-on or knitted cast-on. They're explained in the pattern, and that kind of made the angle not as steep. And that's what this is here, okay? So that's how you do the shoulder shaping, and then you just knit in the pattern. We have charted and written instructions all the way down to the underarm, and that's how you do the back, and then you put it on hold. So now I wanted to give a quick summary of these European shoulders and how they work. What we do, like I said before, you're going to make your shoulder shaping on the back with these very dramatic diagonal lines. Now on the front, there's no shaping at all for the shoulders. All you do is pick up stitches, and like on the back, you did the diagonal increases, and then you work straight down to the underarm once you do those. On the front, you pick up stitches, and you're going to work the same distance down to the underarm. So it's almost like a rectangle down to the underarm, but the shaping occurs because there's empty space here, obviously, with the back. The shaping occurs because the front is pulled to the back, creating that nice fold, and that's how the front shaping is. It's just by virtue of the fact that you're just going in a straight line. So the distance from here to the underarm on the front and the back are the same. You're working the same number of rows, the same number of repeats, and then the front section is folded over to the back. Okay, so those are the diagonal shoulders, and that's how they work. Okay, so now let's talk about the fronts. The right front is the one that you work first, and the way it works, you're going to pick up stitches along your diagonal shoulder, and you're going to place your live collar stitches onto the needle. So you'll have all these stitches onto your needle, and you're going to just gradually add increases for the neck. And depending on your size, the increases will occur in different spots. So I wanted to clearly show that in the pattern. The way I did it was I created 3 charts for the 3 different schedules of increases. So depending on your size, this is for the smaller sizes, this is for the middle sizes, and this is for the larger sizes. Now you can see for the smaller sizes, their increases occur earlier. And then as you get into the larger sizes, they come a little later. But they all end at the underarm. So that's how the V-neck is shaped. So what these charts are it's the full chart, but the section here at the end of the chart are the 9 increases that you're going to make. So when you read this chart, you're only going to read to here. For every row, you'll read to here. But when you get to an increase, you'll see the first repeat are blue, the second repeat is yellow, and the third repeat is orange. And then I guess for the larger sizes, you have even a 4th repeat. So you will just read the chart normally to this point, but it gets bigger and bigger and bigger when you add the increases. And you could see it'll show you whether you're adding it knitwise or purlwise. So I hope these are easy to understand, but that's how they work. And then on the wrong side row too, you're going to work, when you get to an increase row, you'll work up to that point and make the increase. And then on the wrong side row, you'll start from this point and read back to the end of the chart. Okay, so those are the charts. Now, the written instructions, if you're not a chart person and you're a written instruction person, I have that like similar in here. I didn't want to do 50 or 60 lines for line by line instructions. I wanted to do it the same way. So you can see I have regular font and then blue font or bold, and the blue bold sections of the line by line instructions are the increases. So depending on your size, they'll be on different rows. When you get to a row where you have to do an increase, you'll read the line all the way to the asterisk. I have footnotes on how to do it. And then you'll make your 1 increase. And then when you get to the next one, you'll make the 2nd increase. And so you only read the blue part of the written instruction up to the point where your increases have been made. So I tried to explain it as best I could. I think if you're an advanced knitter, it's going to be, you may not even have to look at it. You're going to know you're adding the increases according to what schedule you have in pattern. But I wanted to lay it out too in chart and written format. So that's why the pattern has so many pages. All right, so you do all your increases and you work your right front to the underarm and you place those stitches on hold. For the left front, it's the same exact thing. And you can see I have the same charts, same kind of charts, but the increases are at the beginning of the row instead of at the end. So you'll work when you get to an increase row. Like when you first start, you'll just work the chart this way, and then when you get to your increase, you'll make the increase and you'll work to that part. And then when you get to the next increase, you'll work up to here, back and forth. And you do that all for the first repeat, and for the second repeat, same thing. And then the third repeat, same thing. All right, so that's the left front, and I have written instructions on another page. So these, you'll see they're at the beginning of the row, on right side row, and then the wrong side, the blue, is at the end. Okay, I hope these are clear. When I ran a test for this pattern, I had some testers, and I asked them specifically if they could tell me how they felt about the charts and the instructions. And I had some advanced knitters. They said everything was fine, and they really liked the way it was laid out. So I'm hoping you do too. Once you do the fronts, you're going to join at the underarm, and you'll have the back and the fronts on the needles, and you're going to work straight down, do your bind off, and the collar, of course, is worked along with the sweater. And I have these buttonholes, regular standard buttonholes, and the pattern tells you where to make them. And I think that everything is pretty clear up to that point. Now, let me just mention one thing about the sleeves. When you are going to pick up your stitches for the sleeves, because of this diagonal shoulder, you won't pick them up. The top of the shoulder isn't going to be where this seam is, this invisible seam. You're going to have to lie your piece out and make sure it's folded correctly and that the front and the back are equal, and then you'll pick up that way, according to that, not according to where the seam is in the back. All right, that's the only thing about the sleeves. They're pretty straightforward too. And I think that's it for the construction. Now, I'm going to go over how to work these cables. Okay, so now I'm going to do a demonstration of the cables that we use in this sweater. They are right crosses and left crosses, 7-stitch cables, and these down here are stockinette stitch crossed over ribbing, 3 stockinette over 4 ribbing, and then the next set are 4 ribbing crossed over 3 stockinette, left and right. All right, they're pretty straightforward, but I will go over them and talk to you about some of the quirky things. Okay, so the first one we're going to do is a left cross. Now, for all 4 of these cables, you're always going to be placing the first 4 stitches onto the cable needle. Okay, that's good to remember. So this is a left cross. You're going to place the 4 stitches on, hold them to the front, and then work the next 3 stitches in ribbing. Knit through the back loop, purl, knit through the back loop. Then the last rib stitch is a purl, and it's just readily available right here on your cable needle. And by slipping it onto your left-hand needle and purling it, you're essentially doing another cross to the right. All right, you purl that stitch, then you slip the last 3 stitches on to your left-hand needle and knit them. So you're really doing like a cable in a cable. Now you have a purl stitch in the middle, and now we will do the right-hand cross. The way this one works, it's a little different. You take the first 4 stitches, place them onto the cable needle, hold them into the back because it's right cross. Now the next 3 stitches are stockinette, and now the last 4 stitches are rib, and they're supposed to be purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. However, you can see that they're not in that order. They're in a knit, purl, knit order. All right, but you don't need, because they're in the back like this, they're hidden, so you really don't need to switch the order of these stitches, because there's not a purl stitch readily available here like there was on the left cross. So you could just knit, purl, knit, purl, knit right over those, and you will not see that you changed them from knits to purls and purls to knits, because it's hiding in the back. All right. Now on the next time I do it, I'll show you. There is a way to change the order, but you'd have to do it without a cable needle. All right, let's do those two again. Slip the next 4 stitches onto the cable needle, hold them in front because it's a left cross. The ribbing is in the back. Knit through the back loop, purl, knit through the back loop. Your purl is here. You're going to be crossing these 3 stockinette stitches over that purl. You just place it onto your left hand needle and you're going to purl it. Then place these back to your left hand needle. So it's a little bit of an extra step. And then you knit them. Okay. Those are your 3 stockinette. Now we purl the stitch in the middle, and I'll show you that right cross. 4 stitches to the cable needle, hold them to the back, and now knit the next 3, and slip the next 4 back to your left hand needle, and purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. However, if you did want to be absolutely correct and switch the order of them, you would have to do it like this. You would have to have to take these 3 stitches and put them over this 1 knit stitch. I guess you could do it with a cable needle. You would have to just take this 1 stitch off, hold it to the back, go purl, knit, oops, knit through the back loop, I keep forgetting that, purl, and then put that one back onto your needle and knit it through the back loop. It's an extra step. It's trickier than when it's a left hand cross, and I don't really see the need for it, but if you really wanted to be nitpicky about it, you could do it that way. I just went over the knits and the purls when I did it. You can't even see the difference. This is the one with switching the order, and this is the one with it where I just changed them. Okay, so now I am going to show you cables where we are crossing the ribbing over the top of the stockinette. But before I do that, I have to do 3 rows plain. So I'm going to do that, and I will be right back. Okay, so I did my 3 rows, and now I am ready to do the crosses, the same kind of crosses, but this time I'm crossing ribbing over the 3 stockinette stitches. All right, so let's go to that section. And we are going to place 4 stitches onto the cable needle. Hold it to the front. It's a left cross. Knit the 3 stockinettes. And now your first purl is right here. This purl, these first 3 rib stitches are going to go in front of this purl. So you're just going to take the purl off the cable needle, put it onto the left hand needle and purl it. Now you can take the last 3 ribbing stitches and just work them in order. Knit through the back loop, purl, knit through the back loop. That's the left one, and that one is very easy and straightforward. Purl your center stitch. Now the right one, it's a little trickier. You are going to take the first 4 stitches and put them onto the cable needle and hold them in the back. Now work your ribbing. And just like before, you are going to take these 4 stitches, put them onto your left-hand needle and work them as purl, knit, knit, knit. You can't, to switch the order, you would have to take this purl stitch and put it behind these 3. You could, if you wanted to do it like we were doing the left cross, if you put this purl stitch onto your left-hand needle and purled it, it would go in front of these 3, and by doing that, it would be visible. It's not invisible. You're better off just taking all 4 of those stitches, putting them onto the left-hand needle and working them as purl, knit, knit, knit. Okay, I think that's the easiest and the nicest looking way to do that cable. Okay, now we will do them again. I am going to do the left cross, take the next 4 stitches, place it onto the cable needle and hold in front. Knit the next 3. Take your purl stitch, the 1 purl stitch, which is going to go behind these other 3. Place it onto your left-hand needle and purl it. Okay, and then take these 3, put them back onto your left-hand needle, and work them in ribbing. Okay, now I'll do the right cross again. Purl the center stitch. The right cross, you take your cable needle, put 4 stitches on, hold them to the back, and then knit through the back loop, purl, and knit through the back loop. Now, if you want to do it absolutely correctly, oops, you would have to take this purl stitch and make it the first stitch. So you could, I guess, put them all onto your left-hand needle if you wanted to do it this way, and take your cable needle onto the first 3, hold them to the front, purl that last stitch, and then take these 3 off. And that, I'm telling you, this is a little challenging. I mean, if you want to just do it without a cable needle, I think it's easier. But I think the easiest way is to just go over them. Knit, 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 sorry, okay. And that's how you do the ones where the ribbing is on top. Okay. So there you have it. I hope that made sense, and I think the instructions are pretty clear too. Just follow them. But this is the video of these cables.